Most people think they'll start being evaluated like a project manager once they get the title. That's not true. Your leadership is already watching how you communicate, how you handle chaos, and whether you think like an owner. And you may be failing the PM test without even realizing you're taking it. In this video, you'll learn the subtle behaviors that make managers see you as PM material before the title ever shows up. So what are they actually evaluating on? They're not evaluating you on how busy you are, how hard you work, or how many tasks you completed. You're being evaluated on awareness. Do you see problems before they explode? Outcome clarity. Do you communicate impact, not activity? Stakeholder alignment. Do people leave meetings clear? Ambiguity handling. Can you move without perfect instructions? And ownership. Do you own the outcomes or just your piece? The PM title is usually a recognition of behavior, not a promotion into behavior. So let's get into it. Risk awareness. Most people avoid risk by not talking about it. So they say, everything's fine, which means leaders here, you're not really thinking ahead. What I do as a PM is I try my best to identify potential risks or issues early. I do this by proposing mitigation and having those hard conversations as early as possible with the correct stakeholders. The simple framework I follow is here's the risk, here's the impact, and here's what I suggest we do. That's usually really well received by leadership and clients alike in finding a path forward, whether it be scope, schedule, or budget related items. It applies to almost every scenario you're going to find yourself in. The fastest way to look like a PM is to prevent a fire no one else saw coming. Outcome versus activity. The typical doer update I get is we finished X and started Y. But as a PM, I have more follow-up questions almost every single time. A PM level update is we're on track to hit this goal. The only risk I see is X, and if it slips, the timeline moves by Y. Pretty simple, answers most questions that leadership's going to have. Leaders don't necessarily care what you're doing day to day. They care whether the outcome is protected. Most people leave meetings hoping everyone's aligned. PMs leave meetings confirming alignment. So I say, just to confirm, we're aligned on A, B, and C. If anything's off, let me know. This alone changes perception fast. I always end calls with next steps and action items. I say, hey, just before we wrap up here, I wanted to go over the actions from the call. Bob owes X by this date. Tom needs to send over Y by the end of the day, and Chaz needs to schedule another call for this date. To continue to troubleshoot through tomorrow to find resolution, and if a fix isn't found, then we will do X, Y, and Z. We'll send an update regardless of the outcome by the end of the day tomorrow. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Handling ambiguity. Non-PMs handle ambiguity reaching for something, while PMs provide clarity by being prepared. Instead of saying, can you clarify exactly what you want? A PM might say, here's how I suggest we approach this. Does this align with your expectations? PM create structure. That's not to say we don't ask questions, but the goal is to show ownership and direction rather than being told what to do step by step. Speaking of ownership, I tell you what, nothing puts me off more than some lazy phrases like, that's not my responsibility, they didn't send it, or I'm waiting on a response that you should have gotten 3 weeks ago. To that, my answer typically is always, did you follow up, or did you pick up the phone and try to call them? PM language you can use today. We're blocked because of X. I'm working on Y to resolve it. I tell you what, leadership notices this change in tone almost instantly. Okay, so what can we do this week to start thinking like a leader, like a PM? You don't need a certification. You don't need permission. You just need to start behaving like the role you want. This week's action plan, there's a few of them here. So let's flag one risk before it becomes an issue. Rewrite your next update around outcomes, not tasks. Send one alignment recap after a meeting. Propose a plan instead of asking for instructions. And catch and rewrite one blame statement into ownership. If you do just these 5 things this week, leadership will start seeing you differently. Most people wait for the PM title before they start acting like a PM. Inside PM Directive, we reverse that. We help you operate at the next level first. If you're tired of doing the PM work without the recognition, join us inside PM Directive, link below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thanks, y'all.